So here's a run through how I would approach drawing a delicious box of warm Timbits from Tim Hortons. And no, I'm not associated with them. Okay, perfect. Let's put that to the side. Let's move this one down. So far we learned everything actually to comfortably be able to draw this one. So I start with a horizon line. Up front, when we start actually drawing those rotated flaps, it can happen that maybe when you selected an unforgiven perspective, they will basically look like two lines and not like something like this. If that happens, then unfortunately you just have to restart from scratch. So I'm going to select the midpoint and somewhere here, for example, put down a line there. And let's assume that left and right is equal. So that means that actually our box of Timbits is made out of two proportional squares. Let's double check this. Yeah, looks roughly okay. Perfect. So let's say here is my cone of vision. So I'm getting close. Kind of like I can rotate. So maybe there. Could be. Let's see. Now a little bit above. There. Because now I have to figure out what's my depth. So I go over to there. There's my depth. And then because we're in 1 point perspective, lines don't foreshorten. So there's, for example, my height. And now you can see there we have two squares for the front face where basically Timbits is written on it. From this step, we can continue and draw those missing side faces there and there. And there's more or less our box. And while this is even done on a computer, you see there's a little bit inaccuracy already. So again, the smaller you draw, the quicker problems will later bite you, literally. It's going to destroy your drawing. So if you're afraid to draw big, wrong decision. Draw bigger. It will be more forgiving. So let's assume that the height actually where this line is on is kind of like half the line of this one. So let's eyeball maybe the height with some markers. Yeah, that looks kind of okay. Let's go to there. Let's go up from there. From there, then we go back to the vanishing point. Oh, whoops, wrong vanishing point. There and there. And I get the feeling this might be a tricky perspective because human lines get really tight to the vanishing point. Well, let's give it a try. Let's see. Okay, so now I would like to rotate this flap. The height is longer than, for example, the width. So this height we make a little bit shorter, like there. And then I draw a line. And of course, then this one I have to project over to the other side. We learned through the mirror lecture how we can mirror parts easily. There it is. And then lines up. And this is now really where it gets really tricky. So probably I will just restart this drawing. Okay. Let's maybe, just before I call it a bad drawing, try to ink it. So there and there. No, actually, let's keep this one because as you can see, my flap is pretty big. So I see much of it. That's exactly what I want. Okay, good. Yep, good. But you know what? No, let me undo this one. I'm going a few steps back and I simply extend the height a little bit so it is above the horizon line. So it will be easier to follow. Okay, little alteration there and there. Yeah, that's better. Perfect. Okay, again, we said this is a little bit shorter, so let's do this one more time. To there and then cut, go to there, keep it cut there, and then from there to there. Let's see with an inking if this actually will work well. So this is the back line, that is the front line and back line. So now you have to really be concentrated so you don't connect the wrong lines. And then we can give this a try. And looks quite successful. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that's good. Let's keep it. You see, actually, the line work can get really dense, which again is the reason why when you work with a ballpoint pen, try to really learn how to draw nice and crisp thin lines. Don't make thick lines. Don't use liquid pen or pens for the moment because they just have one line weight. You need to have different line weights if you want to do this type of work. So I'm going to create a new layer simply so we can actually visualize what we have so far a little bit better. There, okay. And I'm going to draw those onto there as well. Here's my midpoint. Because now I would like to figure out the midpoint here so I can construct a nice arc in it. The tricky thing is if I now create ellipses in here, sorry, not ellipses, diagonals, from the vanishing point to the X and the X, I can actually find the midpoints on those edges. But that's not what I'm looking for. I look for the midpoints there and there. So, wow, how do I do that? No big problem. We simply put an ellipse onto this face, because knowing all horizontal and vertical lines don't foreshorten. From here, line to there, and from the midpoint, line to there. There are our midpoints on this line. See, there and there. And then I can simply draw a line up and up. And if the drawing would be correct, these two lines would meet, and whoa, they actually do. Perfect. Little tip actually here also when you work with pen and paper. What I do here with different layers, you can also do with different sheets. So I do a good construction, and once that construction is done, I trace what I need and put another kind of like simplified construction down. And I only carry over all the stuff I really have to focus on, and the rest I basically discard. Okay, now let's say we would like to draw something like this quite quickly to finish it, and for the sake of simplicity, first let's make this one actually triangular. So, number one, nope, we don't see you. And there, and there, and there, and there. Then what we see till the midpoint, and till the midpoint, and there. And you might ask yourself, what is Klaus doing? Okay, so here I have a line, and there I have a line. So based on the perspective drawing I have right now, these two lines I would see, and now I have to create this opening. So again, zip zip. So for example, let's say here at this point my line goes up to the vanishing point till infinity, and then let's say from there So it cuts there. So there, zip, would be roughly there. Okay, let's make 2 lines up and let's push it over. And now everything will be a little bit clearer what I was constructing there. Actually, I just put in the small opening. And you see again what I mentioned about the smaller you draw, the easier you make a mistake, because this whole thing kind of like shifted a little bit to the left side. Okay, so however, the object actually has ellipses there, so we should try to get this one done as well the correct way. Okay, so how do we do ellipses on this stuff? Not a big deal. We also covered that before, so let's go into another sheet. So from here, maybe to there, and then to the vanishing point. And you see where it cuts that other line there. And then here we can bring this over. You see then actually I get exactly the same height. See that? Then maybe here make myself a point and a point. There, 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 and there, there, and there. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I need. Okay. So the things that are important for me are these points, because in there, now I try to see how maybe I can sketch in a somewhat believable edge rounding there, and essentially they should be on the same height, so that one actually dips down a little bit. Yeah, okay, it's not necessarily perfect, but the thing is, fortunately in my case, you would only see the front rounding. The other part you don't really see, so let's make a line over. There. Ooh. Yeah, well, that's the thing when you draw really slowly or small details, your hand starts to shake. Not very good. And that small space I can't really ghost, but I don't really want to zoom in. That's actually what I would do, but let's keep it this way for the moment. Okay. So, you see I'm drawing in my midlines. The back line and the back arc, I don't really see. What's really important is kind of like this front line here. Then there we have this thing again. So let's see, where's our midline? Does this nicely sit onto something? Yeah, so let's say the midpoint is somewhat here. So there, and I'm, instead of messing and creating more lines, I just eyeball it in this case. Put my horizontal over, my vertical. Yeah, and I think that actually looks believable. Perfect. So now I have all my lines done, so I can go ahead and start inking. So maybe here make this a little bit shorter. There, and there, and there, there, and there. So now here I need an arc. Zip. And the same here. There. There. And then the last part here, now I go basically along this line, and at the end I switch direction and flow into this line. I do not stop on this point. So essentially I go up and go this way, and then I stop. So this way you make really nice transitions. And this way you guarantee things don't look like this, but they will look more like this. I undid one step too much. Oh, great, now I deleted it. Okay, there it is. So you see, actually not really complicated. You just have to work clean and step by step break bigger problems down into smaller units, and then actually constructing something like this is really very, very easy.